podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris. How you doing, man?
It's been a weird week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also been about 3 weeks since we recorded.
And it's been a weird 3 weeks since we recorded.
Yeah, Easter happened in there.
Easter happened, yeah. There was a weird threat. Not weird, just... Not to us. I'm talking about politics now. You see, I just realized that's like there's been a weird threat, and I'm not really specifying.
The weekend that we were going to record last weekend, Freya and I had to go to Home Depot, and had a weird moment. I was putting lumber and dirt for her chaos garden, like her with the random seeds in, but we needed more dirt to cover them. So I'm sticking all this into the SUV because I took her with me so that Emily could get a break, because we're going through the I am extremely whiny and extremely clingy, but I don't want you to touch me.
Right.
Toddler phase, like, of just stop being so extra. So we're in the parking lot of Home Depot, and I'm going to name them Matthew and Methany. We're in the parking lot and said, oh, look, that's Jessica. That's our Jessica. And I'm like, what? So I got between my daughter and them. It's like, no, y'all can leave. And the dude started reaching for her. And I'm physically between him and her. And it was, so he kept reaching, and she's like, he has our baby. He has our baby. They took our baby and he has her. I ended up punching the dude in the throat because he kept trying to grab my daughter.
Oh, that's good.
And kneed him in the groin. And then the local police department said there wasn't much they could do because we didn't have their license plate, because they ran and got in their car and drove off. My daughter the whole time is doing this. Don't hit. Daddy, don't hit. No hit. Hit bad. And I'm like, you are correct in every situation but this one.
It's like, this is a rare occasion where hitting someone is
this is justifiable.
Like,
so that was Saturday that we were going to record.
That's not a weird moment. That's a fucking
horrible, terrifying,
scary moment.
And then I buckle my child back in the car after all that, and she goes, "Can I have donuts?" Yeah, we can get you a donut, baby. Like, yeah, this is. I just, you know what? I want a trip to a store that does not go weird. Like, we went to Sam's Club. We went to Sam's Club yesterday, and this dude that's like my dad's age grabs my shoulder. So one, I've got my daughter in the cart, and my son is next to me. And my son's like, "Dad, do you know him?" I'm like, "No." Because all of a sudden, like, from behind, like, hand on my shoulder, like, "Hey buddy, how you doing?" Like, boomer type crap. And I turn around and he goes, "Hey, sir, do you know what crack cocaine's like?" And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. You got to be shitting me in the middle of fucking Sam's. And he goes, "Because this right here," and he pointed at some pretzels, "these are what crack is like, man. You will not be able to not eat a whole bag." And I'm like,
you're with your kid.
I'm looking at this dude, and he doesn't look like a druggie. This literally looked like someone my dad would have hung out with. Just nondescript 60-year-old kind of tall southern white dude.
So it's like a Gulf War vet sort of deal.
Yeah, and he's got his hand on my shoulder. He's like, "Please remove your hand." "Oh, come on, man. I'm just trying to tell you. Please remove your hand." "Oh, come on. If you do not remove your hand, I will remove it for you." "You ain't got to be an asshole, man. Fuck you." And he walks off. And I'm like, I'm just buying groceries. Like, I want...
One, you're buying groceries, and two, don't just touch random people in a fucking supermarket.
How many of the dudes and ladies in our friend group do you think it is okay to just randomly touch, like grab or anything? What's going to happen if you grab Frecky or Knox?
Yeah, they're not going to like it.
Like, my money is Frecky's hitting.
I will say this, like, Knox will warn you first.
That's kind of where I was, because when you, like, okay, let's be honest. If we just hauled off and hit somebody, that's called jail.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's little weird things and a couple big weird things like that have just repeatedly happened. And it reminds me of the joke I made years ago of I did not know during character creation who picked Weird West for me. But whoever did is an asshole. And I need it to stop. Like I need a normal trip to a store.
Only thing that happened with me is I was doing stuff in my backyard trying to get all that brush.
Oh, the booger corner that you're still working through?
Yeah, and I got the chainsaw, and you're gonna hate me.
Did you break the chain?
I didn't break the chain, but there were multiple times where, and thankfully Ruby didn't see all of them, where trees like punched me in the head.
Okay, that happens. If you're not careful using a chainsaw to cut down saplings and stuff like that, you're going to get popped by a limb.
Yeah, I mean, Ruby saw one, it's like, you're going to kill yourself, Chris. It's like, I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Like, I can't judge you too much. Remember when I broke my nose?
Yeah.
I was cutting that limb and it rolled and I just broke it. The limb hit me, snapped it right there. And then Emily, I yell for her to get me a towel. When she opens up the door, I am just literally...
just blood.
And she's like, what happened? I'm fine. I just need something to stick in my nose so I can finish cutting this limb so we can drive the car. Because we might need to drive the car to the hospital. Like, she thought I had chainsawed myself in the face, and I was like, just trying to go back to work. I'm like, no, if I chainsawed myself in the face, if I had doomed myself, I think I'd be like, we need to call an ambulance.
Nah, I mean... I spent most of it just... I mean, most of the branches did not, like, fling, but there's one... Because the way they were, like, weighed down, there were some that were just, like...
Yeah, they just catapult themselves up. For all the gentle listeners at home, we are not trying to aggrandize or brag about our lack of proper PPE and safety in certain situations. We're just being honest. So in all honesty...
Now, I will say I did wear gloves. Good. And I wore glasses, like, so if anything, like, hit the face, I wouldn't, like, lose an eye or something like that. Yeah. But it was just more like, you cut the branch, and then, like, the loose branch is like, hey, I want to come over here near your head. And it wasn't like, it wasn't like, smack me enough to like make me bleed or anything. It was more just like
enough to go, damn it.
Yeah, it's like fuck, enough to piss you off a little bit.
Enough to where it feels like you got punched and you're like, ah.
So by the end of like going through it, like, because I just went in a straight line, cut it from the tree line or from the fence line. I was a little bit annoyed. I picked up some stuff and then I was like, I'm just going to go inside and cook because that's what I'm good at. As my wife built a fucking...
She's doing some good work with that. I'm
no, it's awesome. Like, she was sitting there, like, critiquing her shed. I'm like, Ruby, you built a fucking shed. Did I build it? I didn't build the shed. People are probably talking about me. Like, why is he making his wife build a shed? It's like, I didn't make her build a shed.
Yeah, that white man made his wife do that.
God damn it. No, we can't. No.
Here's the problem.
See, I was actually going to go back to like what you were saying. Like, one of my biggest fears, and once I have kids, is like, because I'm going to have mixed babies, and maybe I should talk to Jed about this because he has actual experience in it. It's the fact that like someone will be like, "Is that your kid?"
Sometimes that'll be something you got to deal with. However, if you look at any of Jed's children.
They have
look,
Jed in it.
They look you like when they smile, when all three of them smile, that is their dad.
Yeah.
Now, talking about a place that needs to have some yard work done as of the last series of photos that I saw.
Oh boy.
But they're not going to because they're directly across the street from a gas station with a Subway.
Oh, okay. Are we talking about the Myrtles?
Yeah. I said in the 100th episode, I was going
to or the
200th episode.
200, whichever fucking episode.
It was the 100th. We just kept saying 200 for like 2 podcasts for no, and that was like over like a month, like between those recordings. But no, I said I was going to do the Myrtles, and so here's the Myrtles. Now, the Myrtles is located at 7747 US 61 in St. Francisville, Louisiana, about 30 minutes north of Baton Rouge. And if you're going to Baton Rouge from where we live here in Monroe, you're going to go through St. Francisville and you're going to pass right by this place.
I think I probably passed by it last time I went to Baton Rouge.
We pass by it all the time because it is literally on the main street when you come down the highway. So, it's right across the street from a gas station with a Subway. It's a block away from the Tractor Supply. It's not deep in the middle of an abandoned, forsaken swamp in the middle of nowhere like so many shows like to say. The Myrtles is not in the middle of nowhere.
That reminds me of like, what was it, Ghost Hunters, where they go to someone's, I think it was like some Cajun dude's house. That was a like a shotgun house in the middle of nowhere, which was weird because shotgun houses don't tend to be.
If you move it out there onto the property.
Yeah. I mean, if you do that, but like, you know, they did that and then they went to the Myrtles and I'm like, I mean, I guess at the time I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, that's...
Now, let me add some caveats to this. There are 5 other plantations that regularly do tours or allow you to do a cooking culinary experience in St. Francisville. It was out of town from Baton Rouge. It was out of town from some of the other larger settlements at the time. By our standards, it is not a huge place, but it does have the Feliciana High School, elementary and middle school at it. It is, like, if you're from New York or Chicago or a big city, this is a tiny place, yes, and you would feel it's in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
If you can get to Whole Foods within 30 minutes from it, it's not in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's depending on perspective, but yeah.
Now, let me give a little bit of information about the building. So, the building that is known as the Myrtles was initially built in 1796. The original portion of the house resembles a northeastern cottage-style architecture. 2 stories, sometimes called 1.5 or 2.5, depending on, because eventually they did raise the floors and make it larger, with 4 symmetrical rooms on each side of the main entryway.
So it's like, so is the main building just like 4 symmetrical rooms?
Well, when you walk into the original portion of the Myrtles, there's a bedroom, the only bedroom on the first floor. There's a bedroom to the right of the door, and then there's a parlor, another parlor / dining room, and then there's another room that now is not usually on tours that's behind the stairs. And upstairs, there were bedrooms on either side in a similar pattern. Okay. So it is literally just a symmetrical block.
So it's not too dissimilar to places like McRaven House, where it's like the way it's presented on TV or the way it's presented in advertisement, it looks a lot bigger than it actually is.
Well, no, it is bigger because there's going to be renovations that I'll get to.
Okay.
Now, the original entrance sat on the bottom floor, centered between 2 of the gables at the top. However, when the house gets expanded, the main entrance is going to change, and then now if you go on tours, what is the main entrance has gone back towards the original. However, there's multiple ways to enter the home from the front.
Right.
This reflects the style and taste of General David Bradford, who was originally from Pennsylvania, that built this house. The original portion of the house lacked a lot of the traditional Southern style due to many did not exist at the time. So a whole lot of the stereotypical plantation elements didn't come about till after 1800.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. All the places we talked about happened at the turn of the century for the 19th century. Right.
Or were built like around 1820, 1830.
Yeah.
Now, it had 6 bays with 3 dormers on the roof and the top initially. In 1834, the house went under the first of many renovations, making it resemble a Creole-style plantation home.
So it got an upgrade.
It got an upgrade. The roof got changed a little bit. They elevated the bottom floor. They redid the walls. They extended the building. They added a wraparound. Like, the house is going to expand in size from its initial.
So they gave it a wraparound porch too.
Not just a wraparound porch. They added to the home. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I was just saying.
The current version of the Myrtles is double the size of what their original home was.
That's great. Like, wraparound porches are so, like, I mean, I don't know if it's, like, I always associate it with, like, southern homes, especially. Not just, like, southern plantations, a lot of, like, rural and farm areas. But, I mean, you see those around here all the time.
Yeah,
but
I kind of like them, but my wife absolutely hates wraparound porches because she wouldn't want a wraparound porch with a window to her bedroom because she doesn't want to hear somebody walking on the porch.
I mean,
outside.
that's fair.
Yeah, especially if you live in nowhere.
But I mean, it's kind of like a mental thing because, like, if you like with our houses, which are not like your house isn't lifted, my house is on a slab.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's effectively the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you can hear the steps on a wraparound porch.
Exactly. The Creole cottage style was popular on the Gulf Coast in the early 1800s. Mostly appeared in areas that were colonized by the French, which is why it's called a French Creole style. Similar to some of the other plantations we've talked about have that French colonial look because they picked it up from the Caribbean, West Africa. Anywhere the French colonized, they built in that fashion. Now, mostly found between Lafayette and Mobile here in the United States. Often noted for wraparound or large front porches, high-pitched 2-story to 1.5-story homes, so that you could have like what we talked about before. We talked about home, like the garçonnier, the where you stick the boys,
right,
with the outside front steps. Now, also traditional for this style is that you would have a double fireplace in the center, one facing one room, one facing the other, and so that the chimney would be in the dead center of the house, coming up near the high-pitched roof. And that you would have 4 rooms that were symmetrical without hallways. Like, think about the front portion of our friend Don's house.
Right. I don't think I've seen his house.
You haven't been? Oh, man.
Yeah.
The front, like, one side of his house is literally the room opens to a room, opens to a room. There's no hallway. And the other side originally did that, but when they finished out the attic, they actually built stairs up to it.
But, I mean, you see that in, like, homes in the Garden District here, too.
Yeah.
Like, remember the old house I was in on 6th Street?
You only had one very short hallway between the bedrooms.
Yeah, but all the rooms were pretty much connected except for one bedroom. Like, and it was so weird because it did not feel like any of the rooms except for that one bedroom were a separate room because
everything just opened to everything else.
Yeah.
Now, the New Orleans version of this very rarely had a front porch because it would have a stoop that would go down to the sidewalk because the lots were smaller. So
right.
If you see a French colonial or Creole style home in New Orleans, they usually lack the front porch. But if you get out to the countryside, you'll see more of that. Now, it also had wood floors, interior decoratings, like very elaborate ones like molding and such were added when they did the renovation. Like, they took plaster and Spanish moss and used the Spanish moss much like a substrate to actually, like, hold the plaster together and make it stronger, kind of like you put rebarb in concrete.
That's kind of clever. I was, like, thinking about, like, because that creates, like, a fibrous...
And Spanish moss was also put in between walls as insulation.
I could see that, yeah.
It also was used to stuff beds, and that one just makes me itch a little bit, because Spanish moss is full of so many damn bugs, no matter what you do.
I guess you would have to, like, smoke it out?
Probably.
Like
420 blaze it, smoke out the Spanish moss bed. Now, again, another round of renovations occurred in the 1850s with the addition of the veranda and the wraparound to the house, and the southern addition, which doubled the size of the home. Currently, it has 6 chimneys, so it has multiple fireplaces. Because, believe it or not, the Florida parishes can actually get colder than we do because of just the weird geography of the Gulf plus some of the other bodies of water around.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think it's that weird because if you consider how many giant ass bodies of water are just down there, because you have Lake Pontchartrain. I mean, you have the Gulf of Mexico. You have there's like 3 other lakes there, but Acadiana just in general, it's just a lot of water. So I remember when I went to last time I need to go back to New Orleans. It's been so like 3-4 years at this point. But it was like the middle of July, but it was really fucking cool in New Orleans, just because there was a draft from Lake Pontchartrain, which is crazy to think that like in the middle of summer, it's going to be like it's not like cold, but it's
when you're
cool.
used to 96 and it gets to 88
or even like 82. Like that's
almost a jacket in the summer sometimes.
Yeah, like I mean, it was like cool. Like I was wearing this and I was not sweating. Sort of weather, but yeah, no, I can completely understand it.
They added Doric entablatures. Sorry for anybody that hears me try to pronounce words, which is similar to a column. They had large floor-to-ceiling bay windows that doubled as doors added in, which is just circulation. Yeah, that again, we go back to like southern homes, which had giant ass windows. Because at high ceilings, most of the first floor ceilings are over 12 feet tall, so that you can pull the heat up. You see, a loggia is located behind the home with 3 sides surrounded. Now, a loggia is kind of like an outdoor covered space for entertaining. So it doesn't have it's not like it's covered by a roof. Like I believe it's like got an arbor, or they can pull a canvas across it. But they allowed you to basically have like an outdoor courtyard that was covered. Right. Now, after the renovations, the main house now has 22 rooms. Okay. That's a lot bigger. Mm-hmm. That's a lot bigger than the McRaven house. I think the McRaven house has like 7 or 8 at most. It does, but the thing is, like, McRaven house has something that the Myrtles doesn't. That's the verticality of the home. Like, a lot of times when you mention Plantation house to people, they think the massive columned in the middle of nowhere estate. Looks like you took the White House and plopped it down in the middle of somewhere. It's the Interview with the Vampire sort of but plantation in New Orleans. The Myrtles does not look that big at first because it's 2 stories. They're 2 high stories, but it's only 2 stories. Honestly, it doesn't look too much bigger than like some modern mansions. Right. Now, they installed a new double door that they added to the front entrance and had hand-painted stained glass patterns put around it to ward off evil. So the stained glass that is around it, the still original stained glass, had patterns in it to kind of scare the haints away. Now, there is a massive French Baccarat crystal chandelier in the main hall, which I have seen because I've been to the Myrtles. It is huge. And it is beautiful. It is also something I would never want. A big mirror. Not just mirror. It's a chandelier that is just huge. Did I miss here? Yeah, you did. But there's also a giant mirror in the hallway that I don't like. Yeah. Okay. Mirrors. I don't know why I think my brain went to the mirror because the mirror is like one of the big things, which I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, no. I mean, I have no interest in chandeliers just because they bougie. They're a little bit bougie. Yeah. I've also had to clean them before because we had a couple chandeliers at the poolside shop that were from when the building was a theater. So I don't know if you've ever had to dismantle a crystal anything. No. It's nerve-wracking. And you're cleaning on top of like a 12-foot ladder. It's not great. I didn't like it. Now, during the renovations, the main walls of the house were moved and repositioned. to make the rooms on the bottom floor larger and shifted around that symmetry that was originally there. And it allowed for the home to have more stately rooms on the bottom floor, such as the lady and the men's identical parlors that incorporated marble and Rococo Revival styles in their decor.
Okay.
If you tour this place, the parlors have so much shit on the walls. And while it's not the original stuff, it is very similar to what they would have had and what descriptions were of literally every inch of the walls had to be covered in something. Also, if you go and you touch anything, it's glued down because it's a tour. The whole bottom of the house is a tour. Upstairs, you can rent rooms. The second floor features 5 bedrooms with connected bathrooms. Only one bedroom on the second floor can be accessed by the grand staircase, with the remaining upstairs rooms being accessed by a stairwell from the loggia in the back. So if you want to get to what would have been the children's rooms, you have to go outside on the back porch up the stairs. Much like similar to the Garçonnier. But because that was all added, there was still the original wall of the ceiling that was a support structure. So there's a bedroom and a parlor upstairs from the main stairwell. Now, also, the second floor was lifted a foot by later renovations, as was the ceiling of the second floor, making the house taller, but also to allow for more stately decoration and allow for air circulation. All right, so history. In 1796, General David Bradford fled Pennsylvania for Spanish West Florida, because at this time, the Florida parishes were not part of Louisiana.
Really?
That's why we call them the Florida parishes. They were part of Spanish Florida, like the whole Gulf Coast from the Mississippi east was. So, now, the reason he fled Pennsylvania is because he was part of the Whiskey Rebellion.
A little bit of a...
He got salty about the new tax that was placed upon whiskey made by the new government and rebelled. Washington, as president, personally rolled out there with the army himself and ended it before it really began, and issued death warrants were issued on all of the commanders. So,
Washington wasn't playing.
David Bradford bounced. Now, here's the thing. Washington didn't have anyone executed. He forgave everybody. He said, look, I understand that you're mad, but I came out here. You back down. This is not how it works. The federal government's in charge. Suck it up. Like, he didn't, like, he made sure to fix it because it was also, it's George fucking Washington. Like, as much of an asterisk is next to that man's name, for anybody that's listening, I want you to understand so much of the early part of our country's executive branch and how people were supposed to act were based off of this 6'2" Virginian. Like, why did the Whiskey Rebellion fail before it really happened? Because if George Washington just sent the army out and didn't go, nah, son, nah.
But he went himself.
But he went as one of 2 presidents that have actually gone out in combat and commanded forces. It was him, and I think it was Madison during the War of 1812, and then very quickly they kidnapped him and took him back. I'm like, you're the fucking president, don't you be out here with your short ass.
The early presidents are like, we want to throw down. Dude.
We threw down. I'm a founding father. I was in the Revolution. Yeah, dude, that was 50 years ago. Get your ass inside.
I'm still going to throw down, though.
Now, George Washington, did they say that to him? Because he turns and looks at them with that slow, I'm on the $1 bill face, and they're like, I'm sorry.
Well, he wasn't on the $1 bill yet.
No, but also, to give you an idea, George Washington's party trick was to roll a pewter plate up like a burrito. He could bend... He could palm, like, 6'2" not overly tall now, but he could palm a dinner plate. Like, he had huge...
Yeah, he had them big hands.
So, like, George Washington shows up, and, like, this is just the absolute unit of a founding father. So, people listened. Also, father of the army, first president, ran unopposed, technically. Someone ran against him so we could vote.
So the other guy was just like, I'm here.
I'm here.
Yeah.
The second time someone ran against him and it was still...
Now, what... Was he the one that set the precedent for...
2 terms. Yeah. He left after 2 because they offered him the chance to be king. And he said, no, we just got rid of a George that was a king. We don't need a new George that's a king. So in any case, if Bradford had stayed in Pennsylvania, he would have been forgiven. He just probably would have been financially ruined. So instead, he fled to Spanish Florida and bought a section of land that he called the Laurel Grove near St. Francisville. The plantation mostly grew cotton and indigo at this time. Now, in 1817, Matilda Bradford married Clark Woodruff. Now, Matilda and 2 of her children ended up dying within a year of each other of yellow fever, and Clark sells the property to Ruff and Sterling by 1834.
Dying of yellow fever, as you do.
Okay, you do realize until like 1890, death by yellow fever is just, you live in Louisiana and there's a fucking yellow fever. Right. There's a malaria outbreak. There's a scarlet fever outbreak. There's a yellow fever outbreak. Why does this happen? Fucking mosquitoes.
Yeah, I mean, we have like whole burial mounds of...
Yeah, we have plague pits, pretty much.
For like yellow fever in like multiple cities. We've talked about that, actually.
We have.
Yeah.
So, sold it to Ruff and Sterling. Sterling renames the property the Myrtles after the trees on the property because there's a lot of crepe myrtles on the property. So, in 1834, the Myrtles becomes known as the Myrtles. 1852, Sarah Sterling marries William Winter. The house was robbed during the Civil War. The Winters had heavily invested in the Confederacy currency to shore up the economy towards the end of the war. So in 1868, they lost the plantation due to extensive family financial loss, but bought it back in 1871.
Oh, good for them, I guess.
In 1871, though, William dies on the front porch.
On the big wraparound.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what happens.
When I talk about the ghosts, he had a double barrel shotgun go off in his tummy.
Oh.
So when I say he died on the front porch, it's because he died on the front porch where parts of him ended up might have been the yard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sarah moved away because she couldn't stand to live in the place, but then rented it out and still maintained income off of it. But she is
such a Southern Belle move. I can't stand to live here, but I will charge a little bit of an Airbnb price for you to...
Well, she also couldn't fully sell the property as a woman in the 1800s.
That's true.
So she moved to St. Louis and died 7 years later at the ripe old age of 44.
Oh no.
So she died of complications. Their son sold the property in 1886. In 1889, Harrison Milton Williams buys the property, and it will remain in his family's care until 1953. So for about 70 years, they own the property. They keep it up. They fix it up. But at the same time, maintaining a house of this size is not cheap. Especially like when you start getting like 100 and 200-year-old floors.
I mean, and just like the size of the property itself.
Right.
Like, did they maintain like the farmland at this point, or? Most
of that's gone.
Yeah. That's
the Myrtles, it's not like when we talked about Lloyd that still has the 600 acres.
Yeah,
that
it still works as a farmland. I didn't think
the Myrtles. The Myrtles. I'll get to some of the modern stuff that they've offered. They still have a lot of land, but it is not the amount that it used to have. Like the sheer cost of maintaining that acreage became prohibitable very quickly. Now, Marjorie Munson buys the property and begins to renovate the house for the third time. Through the 1960s to 80s, it becomes a major tourist attraction and a major stop on the tour known as the Pilgrimage of Plantation Homes. This is like half of St. Francisville. It's like St. Francisville, a couple between there and Natchez, a couple in Vicksburg.
Yeah, I mean
Mont Helena I've actually done research on Mont Helena. That's a plantation house that got built on an Indian burial mound. Like, literally on top of the fucking hill.
This feels like a tour
of oppression.
Yeah, but it's also like, and I hate to say it, but it's what we would probably do.
It's a morbid cure. I've done part of the pilgrimage in Natchez with my mom. We went to 2 or 3 of the plantations before my wife and I were married, and she was coming down to visit for like the second time. We did a couple that are over there, and I feel that we could dedicate a whole year of the podcast to stories in and about Natchez.
Yeah, I mean,
we got there's
a lot of history there.
The Devil's Punch Bowl, the vampire that lived there, the number of plantations homes that are still there, the supposed underground tunnels that are there. Like, Natchez has a plethora of stories that can be used. Also, there was a small point in time where Natchez was almost put into Louisiana instead of Mississippi.
So there could have been a moment where
Natchez almost got put into Louisiana because it is a French city that has more in common with Louisiana than it does with the rest of its state.
Now, Vidalia, I mean, I passed through here. I mean, I guess Natchez is bigger than Vidalia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not hard to be bigger than Vidalia and Faraday.
I mean, yeah, generally, but you know how some places are around here. It's like a lot of it just outgrowths. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Now, James and Francis Kierman Myers acquire the plantation, transforming it into a bed and breakfast, and welcome guests to experience its storied past in the 80s after Miss Munson has to sell it because of being old.
So 1980s.
1980s, yeah. They started doing it. 1992, the Moss family buys the plantation, and the image of Chloe is caught during a insurance walk around of the home.
Okay, so it was the 90s when it was...
The most famous picture of the Myrtles was taken in 1992, and it was part of we're taking pictures of this place for insurance purposes.
That is a lot more recent than I expected.
Mm-hmm. Now, since then, they have added a restaurant and increased the number of rooms you can rent by putting cottages outside. And again, the cottages and the quarters, like, these were... No, they weren't fucking slave quarters. You can look at them on the website. You can look at them on any ghost hunting show where people have stayed in them.
I think I remember when Ghost Hunters went there, and they were like, yeah, these are slave quarters.
They were built where the old ones were.
And then you look at them, it's like very modern looking. Even for like, I mean, it was, when did those come out? 2004?
Look, the last time I saw a ghost hunting show on there, they had fucking mini splits in them, man.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, no, these are pretty modern buildings. Even if you're talking about like, something built like 30, 40 years ago, it's still more modern than what's on the property generally, or like the original building.
Right. Now, let's this is going to be a longer one. Let's talk about the ghosts. So, orbs, EVPs, poltergeists, shadow people, full body apparitions, touching, voices, footsteps, turning on and off of water, doors opening and closing, mist, voices calling from the pond, and cold spots.
Okay, so I'm gonna
the full gambit of.
This is going to be the first time I do this. And this isn't because you've spoiled or like colored my expectations of the Myrtles, but I kind of call bullshit just because of the fact that like 1992.
That's when the image was caught.
Yeah, that's when but I'm assuming a famous image like that is usually like a catalyst for when they decide, hey, this could be a ghost destination. Like something famous, famous...
I'm going to be honest with you. It was already a ghost destination before the photo.
Okay, so that's... But
that is because,
information.
Much like any old home, especially old plantation home, there were ghost stories around it.
Okay, so that's a little bit different.
But
like
the picture of Chloe is new.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I should say it's only what 34 4 now.
Yeah. Well, new relative to the house, but like I was thinking like that's when like they were like, hey, this could be a ghost destination. Like as a ghost destination or like as a place that is like considered haunted. If they had stories about it being haunted before then that's a different story.
Now
I was like, oh, they decided in the 90s. Yeah, this place.
1990 hits. Bill Clinton's elected. We hainted.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, the liberal.
Now, Bill Clinton is not.
No, that was a joke.
Now, there are reports of ghost children in the house playing with things, moving things, as well as sitting on and causing the chandelier to swing when there is nothing that could move that sizable motherfudger.
I'm assuming it's pretty big. It's pretty heavy.
It's not the biggest chandelier I've ever seen because it's in a 2-story home. It is still a full crystal chandelier.
I figured like a chandelier is pretty easy to move though.
To make it rock back and forth noticeably? No. Now, that's my opinion.
I guess Resident Evil 4 lied to me.
It did. It just wanted you to look at Leon with no shirt.
Well, I do that anyway.
I mean, it's Leon. I mean, have you seen that dude?
Yeah, look at his fucking
his best friend punches boulders. All they do is fight zombies and work out all day.
Someone actually took the models from like the RE engine of Chris Redfield and Leon Kennedy. Mm-hmm. And like as big as Leon Kennedy is in new games, he's still not nearly as big as fucking Chris Redfield.
That's because Chris is freaking swole. Like Leon is a dex build. Like he's got some build. He's got some strength to him, yes, and he is in shape and can apparently parry Mr. X like a casual with the axe.
That's pretty fun.
But Chris is built like a freaking Joestar. So I mean, it's like anyway. So lots of disembodied giggles have been recorded and reported in the Myrtles. Many guests report their stuff being moved to other spots in their bedroom. A lot of people complain about hair being pulled, especially hair being pulled while they're in bed. And their hair being pulled off.
Oh, that hurts.
Not like pulled off, but pulled off the bed. Not like, oh, I caught my hair on a pillow. But like all of a sudden, whoop, and it's like the only thing this direction is open goddamn air.
That would just make me mad.
Little asshole. Now, reports of seeing Civil War ghosts on the property have been around for a very long time because, like I said, it was robbed. They did camp out there for a little while. So there are reports of seeing Union ghosts. But at the same time, what is a plantation in the South without a good old Civil War ghost story?
Right.
Now, let's get into some of the named spirits. And let's start with the most famous, Chloe. Now, supposedly, she was a slave owned by Judge Clark Woodruff. So, second round of owners on the property. She was forced to be his mistress. Now, that's the new version of the story. She was forced to be. If you go back to when the stories were told in the 90s, she just was the mistress. Like, she had... Like the...
they're going to gloss over it a little bit.
It's like the 15-year-old slave chose to be the mistress of the 40-year-old slave owner.
Right.
Like she had the ability. No, she was forced to be.
I mean, I don't even think mistress is the right term for this.
That is the term that they keep using, and I don't want to go into any more graphic of a detail, or else you're gonna be like, Hewitt, you should have done a warning at the start of the episode. Future Chris, you might still want to do a warning at the start of the episode because we're talking about the unpleasantness of Southern history.
I mean, so far it hasn't been too bad, but yeah.
I tried not... Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm trying not to be too graphic on this, but also none of the sources were extremely graphic, detailed, or had a lot of documentation, which is going to be one of the issues I bring up here later. She was caught eavesdropping and had her ear cut off by the master because she was eavesdropping. That's why she would wear the big white Marie Laveau turban that people say they saw in the photo. You know, eye for an eye, hand for a hand, tooth for a tooth kind of shit. So she wrapped her head up to hide the wound. So in retaliation, she made a cake and put oleander in it, and it killed the mistress and her children.
Jeez.
Now, either she got away with it and was haunted by the act and killed herself, or was killed by Woodruff. Now, she is mostly famous for the 1992 picture taken by Tita Moss during an insurance review of the property. This is one of the most well-known ghost photos and photos of the house. Many guests claim to see a transparent young black woman in a turban over the years. Most of these reports come after the picture, and I will go ahead and say this before I get to it later. The picture has been reviewed again and again and again, and we cannot find doctoring, like obvious alteration or doctoring, because this is before AI, this is before Photoshop. Someone would have had to like double
Photoshop,
expose.
like 1992. I think Photoshop might have existed, but it was very rudimentary. But we still had
1992. Very few people had a home PC.
Yeah,
and if they did, it was still a floppy drive.
There was still pretty sophisticated forensics back then.
So investigations in the picture have shown that the picture is authentic.
Holy shit. Like, just thinking, like, okay, yeah, we were kids back then.
I was 8.
But like, thinking about the fact that, like, that's back then, we had to, like, do a caveat there.
Yeah. Now, Cleo. Kate Sterling fell ill with yellow fever in 1861. Her father, Mr. Sterling, reached out to another plantation owner who had a slave known as Cleo, who was a voodoo practitioner. She made a gree-gree to save the child, but the little girl still died of yellow fever. Winters, in a rage, hung Cleo. She is seen as an older, dark-skinned woman walking around the property wearing mostly white. Kate is also seen on the second floor and likes to play with people's stuff. And really likes to move your shoes in the middle of the night. The next named ghost is William Winter. Now, William in January 26, 1871, William was called to the door of his home at around 7 p.m. When he stepped to his sitting room door and stepped out to ask who it was, he was shot with buckshot from a double-barrel shotgun at point-blank range. He then died on the master staircase, calling for his wife as he fell and stopped breathing on the 17th step.
So it was a very dramatic death.
Very dramatic. Honey, I done been shot. My liver and my intestines are in the bushes. I do not believe that I will make it through this. Do clear my browser history if you would be a doll.
I have fought porn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Now, 5 men were arrested. No one was formally charged. And they were let go. So whoever the killer was got away with it. I will state this. William Winter did die on the property and was shot by a shotgun. So that's
confirmed.
It is confirmed. It was in the newspaper in New Orleans.
Okay, so it like mega confirmed.
Mm-hmm. Now, the Mimic. And this is one that actually freaked me out a tiny bit when because I hadn't heard this one before. I've heard all the other stories because they're part of the ghost story, but the Mimic. The Moss family lived on the top floor of the house, and the bottom was used as a B&B. While cleaning, Tita Moss heard her husband calling for her, but he was in Baton Rouge at work. Other guests have heard their own names and heard their own voices or voices of loved ones being called on the property, most of them from the pond. There's a high level of fuck that coming from me, because if I ever hear my voice,
that's not a ghost.
No, that's a fuck that. That is a whole bag of nope and leave. That is the you got off the path in the Appalachian Mountains. You fuck it. You fuck what?
There's certain entities
that are known that do that. But hearing a family member's voice when they're not around, sometimes I write off to your mind playing a trick on you. But hearing your own voice call to you from somewhere is fucking weird and eerie. hearing a loved one's voice that's not theirs weird, but also hearing just something call your name and you do not see it is relieving. Like, if I was to ever hear that, I would pick up both of my children, we would get in the car, and we would leave. Like, I do not like mimics. That is fucking
right. Yeah, no.
That's spoopy. Like, that's not cool. That's
well, because it's like it's something you recognize, but it's just a slightly
uncanny valley. It's
right.
It's like the concept of the doppelganger also freaks me out.
Yeah.
The mirror. The large silvered mirror in the entrance hall has reports of faces in it, as well as handprints that cannot be cleaned off. So I put down this is mostly pareidoia, and the fact that the damage on the back of the silver mirror repeatedly leaves an impression is one of the things. Like, I immediately dissuade the mirror. I don't like the mirror because it's like a freaking 6 foot tall mirror, and I don't like it. But yeah, you can see like handprints in it. But if like a silver backed mirror, even if you reback it and it's that old, the mirror itself is still tarnished. Yeah. And so even when you put a new back on it, the handprint's going to be there. Seeing a face in it is pareidoia. Kind of like, also, there's the thing, if you stare at a mirror in the dark for so long, your reflection starts to change because your brain gets bored. Yeah. And so all of a sudden you start smiling at yourself like it's Evil freaking Dead. And that's when, again, I'm out. That's when I smash a mirror and I'm out. So let's talk about some issues with the hauntings. There is no record of anyone by the name of Chloe ever existing. Now, you could say that slaves didn't necessarily always have their names registered. A lot of them actually did because they were listed as inventory. So
yeah, I have an awkward story about like my sister-in-law looking at old wills
and finding someone got willed to somebody.
Yeah, and it's like, why are there names in here in the will? It's like, oh fuck.
Also, the issue is Sarah Bradford died of yellow fever, not oleander poisoning. The 2 daughters that were killed in the story, one of them's actually a son, because the 2 children that died, one was a boy, one was a girl. Both died of yellow fever within a year of their mother, not the same time, and not of poisoning. If Chloe had poisoned them and had been caught, she would have been publicly executed as an example, and it would have been in the newspaper.
So
people would have come to have seen it.
Yeah, so this was not like...
Same thing with if Cleo, whose name is very, very close to Chloe, had killed somebody and then was hung, that would have made the news, because also... That would
have been an affair, a whole...
Well, no, event. The other thing is if it was Cleo was another person's slave, and he hung her. He would have.
That would have been.
That would have been a lawsuit.
Thing.
There would have been a legal thing. So
that sounds really fucked up to put it that way. But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. That's what would have happened.
Now, the name Chloe comes from another ghost story where a young, light-skinned ghost was seen crying, and when asked why by one of the Munsons, who were the owners at the time, the ghost said, "I found out my dad is not black, but the master." And she disappeared. So the name Chloe is connected to a completely different ghost story, but then all of a sudden you see this ghost in the image and you hear the stories of Chloe. So now...
So it's just like not appropriation, what's the term? Association, correlation.
Now, a lot of photos of Chloe, minus the original, have been shown to be doctored and or faked. Yeah. Or large cases of pareidoia with, you totally see a face in the window. Or... there was a tour guide who just so happened to be a light-skinned woman
who pulled a little
I'm going to show up in the window behind you and then move away. Which, you know what? I love that. I fucking love that. That's one of the things that actually has been documented here too.
Were they like semi-fake?
Well, no, they mess with the guests. Like
they're like peek-boo,
pretty much,
and just yeah.
You know what? Winters also didn't die on the stairs. He died in the doorway to the sitting room and on the front porch because he had a shotgun go off in his stomach. So the story about him making it up the stairs is 100% exaggerated and not true.
Getting shot in the stomach would fucking hurt.
Now, here's the thing is Winters was a well-known lawyer and was going to try to run for office, and he was going against the Klan. So, most evidence points towards the one white man out of the 5 that were lined up, because he was actually a wizard in the Klan. But the judge also happened
to be a wizard
in the Klan. So all the charges were dropped. So the truth of the matter is, even though Winters, I would not say was a good person because he was a slave owner for the first part of his life, was going against the Klan, and that's probably what got him killed.
And it might not have even been like ideological. It might have just been...
But look, man, the Constitution says, like we've mentioned this before, that there are some of the earliest civil rights activists that were former slave owners literally weren't trying to advocate for equality. They're just saying, we lost. These are the rules. Stop being a bitch. We have to follow them. I don't like it. You don't like it. But you're being an asshole and you're going to cause a problem for everybody.
Yeah, they believe more in the Constitution and what it meant than like...
Right. So also a lot of them are like, we lost the war. We have to follow their rules, guys. Like they didn't hang me for treason.
So I'm not going to get mad about it.
I'm not. So currently, it is an extremely expensive Airbnb, or just B&B. But a lot of times you can do your reservations through Airbnb.
Because it was a B&B before Airbnb existed.
Now, there are 21 rooms or cottages to rent on the 18-acre estate. You can do wedding events. You can sign up for the tours. You can even sign up for candlelight ghost tours when they offer them. There is also a farm tour. They have reestablished some of the farmland. Now, I'm going to say this. The website very much whitewashes the history of the site and only references ghost stuff once. Like, it only mentions the picture of Chloe. It doesn't tell the ghost story so that you have to come and listen. And I've noticed this with a bunch of other places that have websites is they glance over the slavery portion of their history, but they also
kind of keep it vague a little bit.
They keep the ghosty stuff vague, so you have to show up. Like they
they put it like a little trailer on the website.
Pretty much, it's like how McRaven House like just puts everything out there. They don't. But that's also because they want you to come have weddings there. They don't want to be just a ghost destination. They also want to be I want to, just like the Lloyd Plantation. They don't talk about
everything,
the nastiness of what that site was. Like they don't even reference shows that have come to the home on the website. Like they don't mention like Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Paranormal State. The Myrtles has been on every
ghost show.
Every ghost show that has ghosted.
It's almost like a rite of passage in terms of like Southern.
Your ghost show made it when you got to go to the Myrtles and the Trans-Allegheny and to frickin' Waverly Hills. And now, also the history section is just a long list of who got married and who bought the house. It's a timeline. It's like, and then they fell in love and they married. And I'm like,
okay, that's cool.
And they beat their slaves.
These are slave owners, and I don't care about them. I mean, I guess, talking about the history of the place isn't necessarily bad. I mean, if you're going to have the place as like a place where people visit,
right?
You'd like to talk about it, but I would emphasize the ghost portion. And
100%. Now, I got TripAdvisor on this one too because since you can stay there. So, first one, fun, but all the stories are fake. Nothing is documented. 4 stars. Really nice, but the beds are small for a wedding night. They also squeak a lot. My mother-in-law let us know. 4 stars.
Oh.
Tour guide quit halfway through the tour. 1 star. Expensive. 1 star. The tour guide was amazing, but the house was mid. 2 star. I love that one. Just mid. Yeah, I've been to other plantations. Totally ignored that it was a plantation. 1 star. Whole story fake. 1 star. I have been many times, and the tour has become more whitewashed over the years. It's really sad they glance over slavery and now refer to Chloe as a servant. 1 star.
Wow. Okay.
10 out of 10. I love the garden and farm tour. 5 star. Why did they have Hispanics working in the garden? It broke the immersion. 1 star.
What the fuck? Shut the fuck up, dude.
Remember how I said the lady talked about watching the people on the farm?
Oh my God.
There was a back and forth on this one where someone eventually said, "You're just a fucking bigot."
It's like, I need the workers to
It broke the immersion.
It broke the immersion of this. I wanted to be Candy from Django Unchained.
Got pregnant there, 5 stars.
That seems like a very bad omen.
Got pregnant there, 1 star.
Okay, at least someone recognizes it.
Gentrification, whitewashed, and white nationalism is a place to sleep, 1 star.
Fair.
Someone farted on the tour and we had to go out on the porch. They got so scared it slipped out, 3 stars.
Oof.
Food was good. The history was wonderful. The cottages are amazing, 5 stars. Go to New Orleans for real ghost stuff. It's cheaper, 1 star. The place reminds me of a better time in our country, 5 stars.
No.
So,
oh God, no.
I wasn't going to include TripAdvisor until that was the 3rd one down the line. I went,
third one. How many ratings did that get?
They get 5 stars. The Myrtles has over 8 or 9,000 TripAdvisor reviews.
Oh my. No.
Okay, media. Let's get that taste out of our media. Haunted History, 1998.
Cool.
2001, Unsolved Mysteries.
Right.
Ghost Hunters Season 2, Episode 1, 2005. The Myrtles Plantation, The True Story of America's Most Haunted House by Francis Kierman, a book, 2005. Ghost Adventures Season 9, Episode 2, 2014. The Myrtles Plantations, Murder, Mystery, and Magic, 2022. Short little documentary. Files of the Unexplained, Season 1, Episode 2 on Netflix, 2024. Countless podcasts, including this one. It is one of the most famous ghost sites in the United States, and if someone is trying to do anything supernatural, they're going to talk about it. So before I go over my sources, we need to do our evaluation. None of the stories that they tell on the ghost tours at the Myrtles are true. I am saying that now. I will not apologize for it. None of the stories they tell are true. They are either exaggerated or full fabrication to explain something weird that they found. Is the Myrtles actually haunted? I have to kind of eat my words that I've said in the past. There, in my opinion, there is something there. It's just not what they advertise.
So you think, as someone who's actually been there, I haven't been there.
Yeah.
But you've been there. You're saying that there has been strange things but you don't believe it's the things they say.
I don't believe in the stories that they tell regularly, like the story of Chloe, the story of Cleo, the story of the guy who gets shot on the front porch and makes it to the 17th step, because there's not 17 fucking steps. He somehow died like it was a Bethesda game, like 1.5 feet in the air, just hovering.
Did he just do spaghetti arms and legs?
No, I think he just ragdolled into the wall like it's Skyrim and stayed there. But have people seen things there? Yes. Have things moved? Yes. Did I watch a bunch of videos that could have been doctored because people can edit stuff?
Yeah, easy peasy to doctor. Even back in like the 2000s.
But like, have I watched people show videos of stuff moving, or heard EVPs of giggling, or hi there being caught on someone's cell phone and they're the only ones on the floor and it's a little kid's voice, which I'm out.
Yeah.
There could be a kid in a closet fucking with me. I'm out.
I'm not your adult. I'm gone.
Like, I've seen too many things with kid ghosts and it turns out to be a damn demon. I'm out. This is not my happy place. So I'm going to say something supernatural exists at the Myrtles, but it is not what they're trying to sell you.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm going to say the Myrtles is 99% bullshit.
But there is a little bit of a 1% in there.
There's a 1% that is the weird stuff that's actually happened there. It's just the other 99% is the stories that everybody have been told again and again and again. So that's my opinion on it. What's yours?
I mean, I think there's some interesting stories. I mean, obviously there's going to be embellishments because it's now a B&D and they want to make sure people are drawn there. But it's like with every other place. It's like I hear a lot about the whitewashing. I just wish these places, and it's not just a problem here in Louisiana. Any place where there were slaves, there's always like this, oh, well, they had servants. Oh, well, this is where the farm labor slept. It's like, just say slaves.
That's what they were.
Yeah. I do get tired and I do get frustrated with just whitewashing the history. Because, I mean, because we hear a lot of people here in the South that get really mouthy about, like, oh, well, they're just trying to guilt us because something.
Or it's like that lady over in Texas. What about the Irish slaves that came to America? It's like, ma'am, that was just a labor dispute and people not being paid correctly. The Irish could leave.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, it's still bad, but we're like, that's what about is. We're talking.
It is, but I mean, it's not chattel slavery.
Chattel slavery was a very unique thing. I mean, outside of I mean, you can have they could have all the fun little stories they want about different ghosts, but don't fucking try to flower it up with this language as if people weren't brutally tortured and worked to death here. Just fucking tell the truth. Because if people can't handle it, they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Sources. Crescent City Tours, the Myrtles. InRegister.com, the Myrtles. Wikipedia for architecture notes. TheMyrtles.com. ExploreLouisiana.com. AmericanGhostWalks.com. USGhostAdventures.com. CountryRoadsMagazine.com. NationalGeographic.com and AmericanHauntingsInc.com.
Outside of what I've said, I do enjoy the Plantation videos or the Plantation episodes, just because it's interesting learning about that history. But it is just one of those things you always hear. Oh, we're just gonna just smooth over the rough edges of this history here.
Well, my problem with that, before we do the sign off, is we've lived through a weird time in the South with a transition in its culture and the way it handles itself. My parents' age group praised it and all this debutante moonlights and magnolia bullshit,
which South will rise again.
Not even just that, just a complete aggrandizement of the quote unquote lost cause and lost society of the time, that really appeals to middle class and poor white people, because it's it was kind of better for you back then, and so they're thinking about only what would affect them, which is very boomer logic. But between our childhood and early adulthood, there was a shift to try to whitewash it to make it more palatable, because if you had people from other parts of the country, it's hearing someone just go, oh yeah, this is a slave cabin, we'd be okay, we know what that is, we've seen these. We 100% know it. This is a shotgun house. This is a Jim Crow remnant. This is fucking Sambo.
Right.
This is extremely racist crap that was on the side of a building that we walked by all the time. And it's it's one of those we were just kind of numb to it. But other people oh my God, I can't believe. Why would you even say it? So they tried to tone it down for them, but then also the apologists jumped on it too.
Right.
So, I mean, the thing is that, and we've said it on the podcast before, we need to fully embrace and accept the ugliness of our history to fully understand what both the South and the nation as a whole are. And until we do that, we can't move forward and try to make things better. Just call it what it is, admit it was wrong,
and try and rectify for those mistakes.
And be better.
Now, and to be clear, when I say rectify for those mistakes, I don't mean anyone today is personally responsible for slavery. That's silly. I'm saying that we as people can do better than our ancestors. I mean, my family owned slaves and fought in the Confederacy, and I aim to be better than them, even in just small ways, and also spite them by marrying. It's not
hard at this point, man. It's not hard.
It's not hard at this point, but also I married a black woman, so that probably pisses them off. There is an afterlife. I hope they're looking up at me and crying.
I love how you are like they went to hell.
Anyway, we are Backwoods Obscura. We release every Tuesday. We're going to try and do some social media stuff soon. I'm going to be on Facebook. He's on TikTok as usual. We're going to open back up the Patreon. I actually had to reactivate it recently because it went inactive. But we're going to be doing some things. So
do you want me to throw out what we kind of propose so people can get an idea?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right, so we're going to probably start a Discord here pretty soon. If you pay $1 to the Patreon, you can become a member of the Discord. You would also get one special episode a month that we do not normally release, or if we do release it on the regular channel, it'd be like probably the next year. It'd be somewhere way down the line if it's not just its own RSS. We're still working that out. But also it would open up to like you can make requests, we give recommendations, and start communicating with other people that might listen to the podcast or just like the paranormal community and want us to talk about stuff. And if you give us a bunch of ideas for stuff that we haven't seen or looked at, we might go back and redo episodes because you're like, man, that one was just straight balls.
That one was rough. You need to delete that one. But no, we're mostly doing it. We're not like, obviously we don't think we're going to make a lot of money doing this, and we're not trying to like monetize this in like this big way. We just want to like kind of encourage engagement. So we're using Patreon. We're going to use other forms of social media like Blue Sky and TikTok and Facebook and even Instagram. Well, I'll give you the Instagram if you want to do that. He keeps talking about the Instagram, but
I did it for the gram.
But we do release every Tuesday, and we're also Team Bonus Action.
Team Bonus Action is a group of friends who like to play RPGs and video games together, and are loosely associated with charity. Right now, our charity of choice is the Trevor Project. So if you could donate and help LGBTQ plus youth, especially trans youth, be safely homed, we would greatly appreciate it because right now they are under more attack than ever.
Yeah. And with that, I hope you have a good day or night or whatever time it is over there.
Do you think that the Myrtles would get mad at me if I brought Subway from across the street to their house?
I don't think I care. I'm going to get me a meatball marinara.